pie for Empress Tasha, while fending off a raid from pie-stealing ninjas Uniqua and Pablo.
Samurai pie. Tyrone is shot in the backyard wearing a white baker's hat and carrying a brown wooden spoon. Pie, he shouts preparedly, he introduces himself as Pie Master Tyrone, a resident of Japan. He makes pies like a samurai. He sings Samurai Pie after song. Austin appears in the backyard. Pie, they shout into one another, making karate poses. At first, Tyrone thinks Austin is a ninja, but Austin tells him that he comes to him to learn how to make pies. Tyrone accepts Austin as his student and thanks him. Under Tyrone's direction, the two head off to ancient Japan. The backyard transformed into a grassy landscape of Japan as Tyrone, now dressed in complete pie-making uniform, consisting of the white tunic and pants, heads to the bakery. On the hillside, Tyrone meets up with Austin, his current student. Austin is also dressed in the white tunic and pants, but does not have a baker's hat. Both Austin and Tyrone sing pies of samurai pie. Austin asks Tyrone will he want to wear baker's hat with his outfit. Patience, young Austin tells him calmly. Only when you have mastered the art of making pies can you wear a fluffy hat. Tyrone tells Austin that today he will complete the task of creating a pie for the Empress of Japan, Tasha. The two head the palace of the Empress Tasha to take secret passageways. Baker's pathway is booby trapped so that nobody, even ninjas, can steal any pies. Meanwhile, Uniqua, who is dressed as a ninja outfit, drops from the sky and lands on her feet. She happily greets the viewer and explains that ninjas also had feet. Just then, Ninja Pablo drops from the sky and crash lands in a bush where almost anyways. Amidst Uniqua, together the two ninjas set out for the palace to snatch some pies. And once they arrived at the palace, Tyrone informs Austin that they must take the secret passageways to the bakery, because the main entrance is guarded with traps. Tyrone opens the trap door and leads Austin down the ladder and through the underground path adjoining the palace to the bakery. At the bakery, Tyrone hops out of the trapdoor and Austin looks around the room excitedly. Tyrone demonstrates for Austin how the pie is made. Austin watches with try flies through the air. Tyrone, grabbing a wooden spoon from a wall behind, then jumping and shove to grab a pie, lands in the air. Tyrone jumps onto the preparing table and messily rolls out a pie down with his feet, rolls a pie dough. He does a backflip and slices the pie dough in half. Then tosses both pieces in the air and quickly stirs some pie filling and launches it in the air as well. With a great leap in the air, Tyrone catches the pie's head and lands on the floor with quick movements. Tyrone catches the bottom layer of dough, the filling, and the table dough. For the then, Tyrone holds the perfect pie in his hand. Austin had overjoyed the master's skillfulness, quickly grabs the spoon. Tyrone grabs the spoon from him. Young Austin, before you can make a pie, you must learn how to make pie. And to learn to make pie, I must teach you to make pie, Tyrone tells him firmly. Tyrone then begins training Austin how to make pies. He and Austin sing, "Do you want to make pies?" As Austin repeats several exercises, including touching a pie tin, with a rolling pin, mixing a bowl of filling and kicking his foot, and turning around with filling a row of pie tins with pie filling. Suddenly, a gong sounds, and Tyrone informs Austin that the sound means the empress wants pie. The two pie makers set up for a palace. Meanwhile, ninjas Uniqlo and Pablo Skillful Stone were just outside the palace. At the palace, Tyrone shows Austin a roll of different pies. Austin sees a big shining pie. Tyrone tells him that it is the great pie, the tastiest, the most wonderful pie in all the world. Tyrone also tells that have made it once, but it never got to taste it because it was stolen by ninjas. Tyrone Austin entered the throne room. Tyrone greets Tasha, who is sitting at a table in the room. Meanwhile, ninjas Uniqlo Public are watching everything from the window. The empress wants to taste a different pie, but someone not yet been made. Austin just suggested, says she liked the big great pie. Tyrone is petrified, and covers his mouth, but the emperor agrees with Austin. He thinks it's a marvelous idea, and then just get excited after overhearing this. Tyrone, Tasha, and Austin sing the great pie. During the song, the ninjas sang along, but the others take notice of them. They run away. Uniqlo Pablo fall. Together, they stole pies. Tyrone and Austin are next shown walking back to a backyard meat bakery. At first, Austin thinks that Tyrone will make the great pie together, but Tyrone tells Austin since making the great pie was his idea, he shall make this pie by himself. But he also tells him that his true test is becoming a master pie maker. Make the great pie, he declares. The camera moves to ninjas Uniqlo Public at the bottom of the hill. The bakery stands on. They start shaking up the hill and steal the pie. Austin will make this set of trap pie tents shot in the equal public direction. The camera moves to the bakery. Austin first creates a small burnt pie. The Tyrone drinks. Tyrone yells, "Where's my pie?" Tyrone tells Austin that make a new pie, and quickly because the empress is getting hungry. The camera moves to ninjas. Uniqlo decides to duck under the tents, and Pablo does so as well. The two are now further up the hill. Tyrone next show, Austin made lots of pie, but Tyrone rejects them all. Tyrone yells, "Where's my pie?" Tyrone encourages Austin to grate the pie. Austin does so and grabs the large pie tin. Uniqlo and Pablo are next shown that have set up another trap that features folding pins of tone that roll down the hill toward them. Uniqlo decides to jump over them. Pablo does too, but after a few jumps, Uniqlo and Pablo each land a pie pin that rolls back and down the hill. Uniqlo and Pablo fall a few times. They are not able to get up the hill. They cross two trees. In order to get the bakery, they will have to jump from tree to tree until they reach the building, avoiding the pans below. Uniqlo tries to get to the tree's top but falls. Pablo attempts and fails as well. The two sing "Ninjas Like Pie Too" as they jump from tree to tree and reach the bakery window. Meanwhile, inside the bakery, Austin has created a large pie. Tyrone claims to be great pie. Tyrone places the tray on top of the wheel cart, is about to bring it to Empress, when Uniqlo and Pablo enter the steel pie as well. Uniqlo and Pablo take action and lunge forward. Tyrone Austin moves the pie out of their reach, and Tyrone Austin filling many pies with ninjas, but they keep parrying their attacks. They make the pies get cheated. Back at Tyrone and Austin covering their eyes and steal the great pie. Tyrone and Austin manage to take it back, but then Uniqlo grabs Austin and Tyrone but falls in the wheel cart, and the pie fell out of the bakery and goes into the palace. The four run to the palace and said, Tasha yells, "Where's my pie?" through the window, and on the table where Tasha's sitting pie. Tasha finishes the surprise. The ninjas and the pie makers enter the room. Tasha takes the fork and takes a bite of the pie. She does so, and tells Austin and Tyrone the food is the most wonderful pie she ever tasted. The cast sings the great pie again, during which Tyrone gives Austin a very own baker's hat. Ninja Pablo's stomach rumbles. Ninja Iniqua asks him if he is hungry. Pablo tells her that he is thirsty. He invites the others to his house for some milk to go with the great pie. The five rush to Pablo's house as Japan transforms back into a backyard. The characters sing the end song and head to Pablo's for a snack. Tyrone opens the purposely closed door and shouts, "Pie!" Ninja Uniqua, Ninja Pablo, Pie Master Tyrone, Japanese Empress Tasha, Apprentice Austin, Samurai Pie. Do you want to make pies? The great pie. Ninjas like pies too.